there, hello and welcome back to my e-learning accessibility tips and tricks series. Today we're going to take a fairly quick look at contrast. I'm talking colors, I'm talking images, and I'm talking fonts. It's important to have really strong contrast so that you have a really good experience for anyone visiting or using your content. So let's take a quick look. It's really important that you have sufficient contrast to make text readable. If you're considering accessibility legal guidelines, the requirement is 4.5 to 1 ratio at a minimum. I'll show you an example of that in just a minute. Let's consider this box on screen here. If you are a sighted user with very good vision, this might be very easy to read for you. But if you have any sort of visual disabilities or limitations, it's not going to be quite as easy. And this box itself doesn't actually have sufficient contrast to meet accessibility guidelines. So if you are someone that's sighted and has very good vision, you aren't going to be able to tell just visually necessarily whether or not something has an appropriate ratio. But there is a tool for that. To ensure sufficient contrast to make your text readable, again, this is the requirement, and this redone box here now has the sufficient contrast required, okay? So on that last slide, it was a little bit of a lighter blue in the background. This slide is a darker blue. This now has sufficient contrast to meet accessibility legal guidelines. And you can probably tell, too, it's a lot easier to read. It's pretty easy to check your contrast. WebAIM has a tool for that called the contrast checker. So let's go ahead and check that out, and we'll look at some more examples of contrast. So I've already pulled this up on screen. You can just search for WebAIM contrast checker. This will come up. There are two boxes you need to worry about here, the foreground color and the background color. So the background color would be the blue box. The foreground color would be the text in that blue box. So if you wanted to have, for example, white text on a blue box, you could use this to figure out what that contrast or what those colors need to be. So if you want to set text, choose the color for your text here. This will be the foreground color. Obviously, white text on a white background is going to be a fail, and it tells you down here if this is a pass or fail. So we can start looking at the colors for our background color. So say I like this purple, and click out, oh, fail. And it gives you the ratio here. Remember, it's 4.5 to 1 that we're looking for. This is a fail, and it shows you visually what it looks like. Again, this might look fine to you if you have very good vision, but it does not meet accessibility standards. But say you really like this purple color, you can kind of just keep on tweaking it until you find something that works. All right, we're getting a little bit better if you're using large text. This would be fine, but for normal text, size 12 font, for example, it's insufficient. So just keep on pushing that over. Ah, here we go. We now have the 4.5 to 1 ratio met, and that will get you passed for AA. AA is generally the level you need to be at. You will know if you need to be at AAA. This is actually a more stringent level in accessibility guidelines. If you pass for AA, generally you should be fine. Now, if you want to go ahead and use this color in your document creator or your PowerPoint, you can click on it again. It'll show you the RGB here, and you can actually go into your PowerPoint, for example, here. Select the item that you want to change the color. Go to the shape fill. Pop over to more fill colors. And then if you pull up your contrast checker, you can take this RGB 104A7234. And you can pop it in here. You just go red, green, blue right there. It'll show you the new color and it'll change it on screen for you. So pretty quick and easy, right? Just pop over to WebAIM Contrast Checker, put in your colors. It'll let you know what works for you. And if you're not sure, or even if you are pretty sure, it never hurts to double check. And this is also another reason I recommend creating a style guide in advance. If you're going to be creating a lot of content, you can choose your colors in advance, make yourself a little color guide, and you can just reuse those colors throughout the entire process of designing your documents, and you'll know that everything is going to be nice and accessible for your users. All right, so let's move on. Now, there's other issues besides just minimum contrast. There's things like this. We have a red font on green background. If you can't see it, I'm sorry to tell you, but you're probably colorblind. But this is an example of a color combo that is really hard to read for pretty much anybody. You can kind of probably feel it vibrating off the screen, but if someone's colorblind, they're not going to be able to read this at all. It'll just be invisible to them. Similar, red on purple is another color combo that's really bad for people that are colorblind. It's also a color combo that kind of seems to vibrate off the screen. If you are not sure, as with all things in life, just keep it simple. Light font on dark background or a dark font on a light background, okay? Design above all things for readability. If you're not sure, ask a friend and use the WebAIM contrast checker.